The News Hour debate, tonight at 9. Month after month, day on day, city after city, in home after home. Times Now is India's undisputed number one. Not one time band, not 1 hour. We lead every hour, every moment. Times Now reaches every Indian. The Republic watches Times Now. Thank you for your trust.
Welcome back. You're watching News Watch here on Times Now, and our top story at this hour, a mentor turned monster and perhaps molester. India is outraged after singer Papon's repulsive act in a video that has now gone viral. In the guise of affection, Papon, the singer, is caught on camera trying to force himself on a girl who happens to be underage. She's a minor. In fact, when the singer realizes on camera that the act is being filmed, he can be heard asking for a recording to be stopped. Here's what the video that we have explains. Take a look. My colleague Anand Narasimhan joins us with more after this.
म्यूजिक अरे बंद करो ये फेसबुक लाइव चल रहा है क्या नहीं अरे बच्चों के आप घूम सकती है ये क्या हो रहा है ये क्या हो रहा है म्यूजिक अरे बंद करो ये फेसबुक लाइव चल रहा है क्या नहीं
Anand Narasimhan joins us now. Anand, what are we looking at here? The channel as well as the singer's lawyer suggest that this was no forceful imposition, this was just a sign of affection. What are we seeing in the video?
Well, Atar, let us break it down for our viewers as far as the entire video and the explanations that have come. So far, what we can understand is that people believe they are confused, the lawyer and Papon, as to the age of the girl. There are contradictions galore, but let's start. He's saying it was affection. It's a perverted act, shameful defense, but the question is what's affectionate about Papon forcing himself on a minor? Because in this case, the girl did not have a choice. The next excuse that comes to the fore is, that has been offered by the lawyer, is that it was guru-shishya relationship. Please tell us which guru gives a peck to his shishya on the lips. That is also admitted to by the lawyer. Even Papon in his statement has admitted to touching the girl. He has, touching a girl child. The other excuse is the child isn't complaining. Point is, can a child who's dazzled by a celebrity say no? Two, did the child actually have a choice when she was asked to stand there because their faces were going to be colored for supposedly a Facebook live chat ahead of Holi? Now, the other one, no one had a problem. Why did Papon respond like this when there were two voices which can be distinctly heard saying, "Are ye kya hai? Are ye kya ho raha hai?" Two separate voices of people watching him act, trying to kiss the minor. Then he turns around and he says, obviously music, and then he says, "Are we still live? Band karo ise. Band karo ise." Look at the action combatively. Why is someone heard saying, "Are ye kya ho raha hai?" Why is he guiltily asking for the recording to be stopped? When they say Papon is their mentor and a father figure, if he is a father figure, why was he combative like this? Why did he respond and react like this?
There you go.
These are the questions, Atar, as we break down that video and look at it frame by frame and put reality and counter reality together.
Thanks, Anand, for that breakdown, really. And the questions Anand asked are very simple. Why is someone in the background being heard saying, "Are ye kya ho raha hai?" And if this guru-shishya relationship is so pure and biased, why is Papon asking for the recording? Thank you, Anand, for joining us. Times Now, in fact, confronted Papon's lawyer Gaurang Kant, who has brazenly defended his client and claimed that if the minor girl's father doesn't have a problem with what happened, why should anybody else take offense to what happened? Now that is a flimsy, weak defense, but it's a defense nonetheless. Take a look.
Then the fact remains that here it is not smooth. When you are making a statement, it has to be responsible enough. When you say this, it is just a peck. I'm sure you know the difference between a kiss, smooch and a peck. Well, I really, according to your definition, maybe it is a smooch, but according to me, it is not. This is something which has been a wonderful relationship between a guru and a shishya, a girl who has been mentored by him, and please don't malign this reputation. There is nothing anything wrong in what has been done by Papon, and I think that is being condoned by the father. Who are we to actually start judging a situation whereby the father himself is coming forward and making a statement? The girl has confided in the father has come forth and made a statement. There is a statement which has been issued. The manner in which he has uploaded also justifies his intent. It shows that he had nothing to hide, he had nothing to hold, he had nothing to be ashamed of, and that is the reason why it had been put in the public domain.
So Papon's lawyer brazening it out, suggesting and saying the father condones it. I'm not too sure the father condones it, but he hasn't really raised an objection yet. Let's go back to Anand Narasimhan for a while so you can have a full look, in case you missed it, the sequence of events. Anand, over to you.
Yes, we will play out that video again, and look out after we break this down, and for our viewers, we'll play out that video again and watch out. In fact, listen in to the reaction when the kiss happens from the people who are behind the camera, and then you dissect what is going on here. Some of the reality and counter-reality objections or arguments that have been posed by Gaurang Kant as the lawyer and also Papon. They say it was affection. The counter-reality is, what is affectionate about Papon first pushing his hand on that girl's cheek, smothering her face with color, and then holding her with her face, and then pulling her to peck her on the lips, as per the lawyer's claims. This is what happened. So what is affectionate about this is the first question that comes to mind. Secondly, they say this is Guru Shishya Parampara. Please tell me, ladies and gentlemen, do you believe a guru will give a peck on the lips to the Shishya? Which guru does that? Are you aware of your guru doing that for a Shishya? Is this Guru-Shishya relationship? The question stands. The next question, the next argument that came to the fore was the child isn't complaining. What do you expect a starstruck child, a dazzled child to do in a situation when there are people and you have Papon coming there across in the guise of putting color on her face because a Facebook Live for Holi, ahead of Holi, is happening? And then he turns around and he kisses her. What do you expect the child to do? And in this case, the POXO Act does not talk about the minor's consent or not. If it's a minor, it's a wrong act. Plain and simple. As per section 19 and 20 of the POXO Act, it says anybody who's watched it, anybody who's got objection should report this matter. And then it's the NCPCR which will decide. The next point that comes to the fore, no one had a problem. If no one had a problem, why is someone heard saying, "Are, ye kya ho raha hai?" And if you were to, we'll play out the video once again after this. If you listen carefully, these are two distinct voices. Two different people who were behind saw this and objected. And look at the reaction of Papon. Look at what he's saying. Ye live ab bhi chal raha hai. Band karo ise. Kato, kato. Why does he say that? Watch it carefully. No one had a problem. Why is someone heard saying, "Are, ye kya ho raha hai?" Atar.
Right. That's the sequence of events, and those of course are facts that nobody can deny. He has asked, of course, in that video, "Are, ye Facebook Live chal raha hai, band karo isse." We have guests joining us as well at this point. Advaita Kala will be joining us along with Kapil Sankla and Sujay Kantawala. Before I go across to the guests as well, we'll play that video one more time for you, just as there is no doubt really in your mind about the sequence of events. It's all caught on tape. Here it is.
अरे बच्चों के यहाँ पर घूम चुकी है। हाँ, ये क्या हो रहा है? ये क्या हो रहा है? म्यूजिक म्यूजिक म्यूजिक। अरे बंद करो, ये फेसबुक लाइव चल रहा है क्या अभी? अरे बच्चों के यहाँ पर घूम चुकी है। हाँ, ये क्या हो रहा है? ये क्या हो रहा है? म्यूजिक म्यूजिक म्यूजिक। अरे बंद करो, ये फेसबुक लाइव चल रहा है क्या अभी?
Anand, is very clear. Ye kya ho raha hai is a surprised voice, and somebody, of course, I'm guessing it's a factotum really of the singer saying, "Arey music hai, koi baat nahi."
No, and he also says music. He also turns around and says music. But the fact is, But there were this, as the kiss happens, there is somebody who turns around and says, the singer is forcibly kissing the minor, somebody's, "Arey, ye kya ho raha hai?" And there is another trail voice saying, "Ye kya ho raha hai?" There are two voices which turn around, and look at his reaction. He says, "Band karo." He doesn't realize that the Facebook live is still on. "Band karo is live ko, kato." Why does he say that if there was nothing objectionable here, and if this was absolutely a harmless act, as he's trying to say and his counsel is trying to say? We are only asking, why did you react like that, Mr. Papon, and why did standing there react like that? Who are those people? Will they come out and speak and say, why did they say, "Arey, ye kya ho raha hai"? Because they were not expecting it. This was something beyond the normal in terms of the equation that Papon had with these kids as a mentor, as a guru. Back to you, Atar.
Right. Thank you, Anand Narasimhan, for all that information. Clearly, the only question we should be asking right now, the girl is underage. Underage, she's a minor, and as Anand pointed out right now, the POXO Act is absolutely crystal clear on that. You cannot touch minors as well. Thank you, Anand Narasimhan, for joining us for that. We'll go across to our guests in just a bit who will be joining us. I've already named them, Advaita Kala, as well as Kapil Sankla and Sujay Kantawala will be joining us in just a bit. The question really is, will Papon reply to these questions? He's fielded a lawyer, Mr. Gaurang Kant, who has spoken out 2 times now, but he's brazening it out. Why is Papon brazening it out? If he has nothing to hide, if he thinks that the Guru-Shishya relationship is so pious, so kosher, and he has nothing to hide, why doesn't he answer the question about why he inquired in the first place about whether or not the Facebook Live was going on? And what about that man who cried out in a surprised voice, कि ये क्या हो रहा है? Somebody else, a factotum I'm guessing, said music hai, music hai. Our guests have joined us right now. Advaita Kala, I'd like to start with you right now. The POXO Act, very clear on this, crystal clear. There is absolutely no ambiguity about it. The girl is underage. Papon is a man who is in a position of influence, of power. He is her so-called mentor. Is it the girl's fault that she did not resist it? Is it anybody else's fault but Papon? Shouldn't he have known better?
Absolutely. I don't think these things can be codified by a code of conduct, I think an adult man should know how to interact with a child of whatever gender. It was highly inappropriate. The video is there for all of us to see. And this whole Guru-Shishya kind of red herring that has been presented, let me bring forth another word, and which is used commonly when it comes to child sexual abuse, and that is grooming. Where adults in positions of influence use their influence to groom children into sexual behavior, inappropriate behavior, because of this entire dynamic of power, because of a mentor relationship in some cases, of a familial relationship, of authority in some cases, sometimes even in the clergy when it comes to a church or a pastor, like so many of the cases that we see coming up in the Catholic Church.
Right.
You have these instances where young children are groomed
I'm
by
glad
adults
you mentioned that particular analogy. I'm glad you mentioned that particular analogy, because this clearly derives from a place where men are in power, in positions of influence, and somehow end up misusing it. We are living in the middle of the hashtag #MeToo generation. Things are started to change around the world, but we have to identify and establish first. And I don't want to jump the gun here, because I believe in due process. He has fielded a lawyer, and we're going to go by their statements. In a while, I'll read out Papon's statement here and point out the contradictions in his statement. Before I do that, I would like to get a legal opinion as well. Sujay Kantawala, we are very clear on the POXO Act. We are very clear on the kinds of lines that are drawn in public life with people like Papon, who are so-called mentors of pre-teen children, 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old. Do you think there is absolutely any justification for what Mr. Papon has done? And I will of course come to his statement in just a bit, but purely on a legal footing, is Mr. Papon in trouble?
He is in serious trouble, and to add to what Advaita just said, I fully concur with her. If you see the objects and reasons of the POSCO Act, and it clearly defines even non-penetrative sexual assault. This is clearly sexual assault by a person who is in position of trust. See, this Guru-Shishya charade that is being trotted out is completely unbelievable. He was in the position of trust. He took advantage of that, and the girl who is a minor, as defined under the Act, he committed a heinous act. So therefore, the lawyer who has filed his complaint is mandated under the law. In fact, the law says, the POSCO Act stipulates, any person who witnesses this kind of an act has to mandatorily approach the commission or the police. And the police have no choice.
Here's why
because it's a cognizable offense.
Papon today, and this is because of his statement. And before I come to you, Mr. Kapil Sankla, I just want to remind whoever's watching right now, the viewers watching at home, you can call us right now. The numbers will be flashing on your screens. You can call us on those numbers. We'll put you on air. Just remember to keep your language parliamentary and your behavior civil. We are inviting callers. The callers can call now. Numbers are flashing on your screens. Now, Mr. Kapil Sankla, here's Papon's statement. I'm going to read from paragraph 3 and then paragraph 4 and point out the contradiction which makes us ask all these questions. Something doesn't add up. There's a discrepancy. I'll point it out why. He says in the third paragraph, however, this is not to say that I haven't made a mistake. I might have done it spontaneously, but in today's environment, to touch a girl child, however innocent your thoughts are, is not advisable. Then he goes on. Here he is claiming that I might not have made a mistake, but it is not advisable in this day and age. Fourth paragraph, third line, he says, and please note this, it is in fact just a case of faulty camera angles and an accidental move and not a sexual assault as being reported. So first he said I did not commit a mistake, then he says it's faulty camera angle. Anyone in their sane mind will question not just his intentions but also his act. Kapil.
You see, I think he's just trying to cover his base. When I got a call about this, I was actually a bit surprised. And I actually thought probably he has a valid defense. It could have been without any intention. But there seems to be no defense to this at all. You know, what is admitted is that the child is minor, that he kissed her on the lips. There is no way he can justify it by saying Guru Shishya association, and more importantly, subsequent conduct. You see, as soon as he realizes that it is being recorded, it is going live. You can see his expressions. He wants to cut the live feed immediately and instantly. That clearly shows that his intention was malified, it was wrong, it was criminal in nature, and in any eventuality, he cannot say that his intention was not what is clearly seen, because under the POXO Act, intention is presumed against the guilty party, against the accused.
So legally he is on a weak footing. This is right now. Legally, no matter what Gaurang Kant, his lawyer, says to Times Now or any other media house,
I think he's on a very
weak footing. He's on a weak footing. The visuals look bad. His intentions look bad.
He's on an absolutely weak footing.
There is a case. Absolutely. I want to go back to Advaita Kala. I have exactly 3 minutes left on this debate. Advaita Kala, in the hashtag #MeToo, post-MeToo scenario in a country like India, where even in India now people have started speaking up about what they have to go through, not just in the workplace but also generally being women in general, to live in a country in 2018 India. Do you think this is a fit enough case perhaps? I'm not starting a witch hunt. I'm not interested in targeting Mr. Papon because I believe in due process. But prima facie, the video evidence we had, the kind of loopholes and the discrepancies in Papon's own statement, do you believe that this is one case that perhaps needs to be completely investigated, and all the questions we are asking, more importantly, Advaita, are they out of line at all? I think they're bang on target.
This is also tip of the iceberg.
You know, you brought up Me Too, and that I think is a very appropriate example, because you have had women who are Hollywood royalty, women who are paid millions of dollars, who are at the top of their game, wait for 2 decades to come out with accusations against a man like Harvey Weinstein, and these are grown women. So imagine what it is like for a child who is in this situation with a powerful man. So how difficult it will be for her to articulate this in any way, being a child. Forget the other ramifications of it. So I think we have to take this very, very seriously. It's on video. It's clear to everyone who is watching. We run an issue in this country where we don't have literacy when it comes to sex abuse, especially when it comes to children. We cannot blame them and expect them to stand up for themselves. We have to stand up for them.
All right, we have a caller, live caller on the line right now. Rajinder from Faridabad, the first caller. Mr. Rajinder, please go ahead. If you can hear me, Rajinder, you're on air. Please go ahead. All right, there seems to be an audio issue. BK Sinha is our next caller. Go ahead, Mr. Sinha.
I am Digesh. I am just watching your. I am watching your debate, sir. Sir, I would like to say my opinion, sir. Whatever happening in our country is very sorry, and I think that whether it is central government or state government, they must take action against those who are doing such types of incident. So first of all, as per my view, this is not happening good for anyone.
All right, thank you for calling in. 2 more callers, in fact 3 more callers right now. The traffic is now just beginning to move as we walk in to the last mile of the show. Sanjay from Delhi is our next caller. Please go ahead, Sanjay.
I am watching your video, this video, and it is really shameful for our society. And proper investigation should be made, and he should be, if he find guilty, then proper action should be taken against him.
All right, enough said. Thank you for joining us, Sanjay. Vindir Singh Maan from Gurgaon. Mr. Maan, please go ahead.
Hi, good evening everyone. Now it is clear that what has happened. The question is that if it has happened in the daytime, what action and why this action has not been taken, because he can influence adversely. This man is powerful and he can adversely influence the evidence. And what happens if tomorrow the person who has been assaulted, their family or that person retracts
they will be in shock
statement.
right now. That excuse offered by Mr. Gaurang Khan, the lawyer for Papon, saying that the father hasn't really objected is no excuse at all. We have our last caller right now, and his name is Mavesh. He's calling from Kanpur. Go ahead, Mr. Mavesh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I'm watching your show, and I'm deeply pained and disappointed by the way things are happening in our country. Just a Nirav Modi case, and after that, this thing is happening. And lawyer, we don't have lack of lawyer in our country. The way he is defending his client is also kind of, which is very worrisome. Because in our country there is no dearth of lawyer. You can easily commit a mistake and you can hire a lawyer and they are ready to defend the country.
Is it going to be the age-old case? If money can buy you a good lawyer, can you escape the law? Can you escape the arms of justice? Advaita Kala, thank you for joining us, as well as Kapil Sankla and Sujay Kantawala. In the end, I would like to reiterate, we here at times now believe in due process, but we also believe in prima facie evidence, video evidence, and discrepancies in a hastily written statement coming from a powerful man who is in a position of power and is accused of a heinous crime. Thank you for joining us. Short break right now. We'll come right back with more news on the other side. Keep watching News Watch on Times Now. Welcome back. This is the video that has shocked the entire country, and outrage is visible not only on television channels. Already a Supreme Court lawyer, Runa Bhuiya, has filed a petition suggesting and alleging the said singer Papon Angarag Mahanta has committed sexual assault on a minor girl on the sets of a reality TV show that he mentors. Here's the video. Judge for yourself.
ये क्या हो रहा है? ये क्या हो रहा है? म्यूजिक अरे बंद करो, ये लाइव चल रहा है क्या? अरे बच्चों के यहाँ पर घूम चुकी है। ये क्या हो रहा है? ये क्या हो रहा है? म्यूजिक अरे बंद करो, ये लाइव चल रहा है क्या?
Your questions that Papon needs to answer. If this was a pious guru-shishya relationship, why kiss her on the lips? If he says he's an expressive person, why did he inquire about whether or not the Facebook Live was still on? And why is there a third audible voice, clearly surprised, asking, ye kya ho raha hai, ye kya ho raha hai? Questions that Papon, his defense team, need to answer. As far as the family of the girl and the girl herself is concerned, well, don't expect somebody who's a preteen, a teenager really, who's clearly awestruck by the stars present, to try and somehow come out and tell everyone what actually she went through. The POCSO Act is very clear on this. We'll take a very short break right now. More stories on the other side on Times Now. Stay tuned.